Apparently, Conor McGregor did not make a donation to Dustin Poirier's charity foundation, The Good Fight. So if you haven't been on social media today, or you've just been living under a rock, or I don't know who you follow if you did miss this, Dustin Poirier called out Conor McGregor for not following through with a $500,000 donation to his charity, The Good Fight, that apparently was talked about before their rematch. And even though things were set up, people talked, his team went silent. So we've had a little bit back and forth. Conor got, back to his old ways, so to speak. A lot of people are saying, he's bringing out the old Conor, and some beef is brewing for the potential trilogy bout. So boys, what do we make of this? Is this all just theater, or is this, Conor kind of skipping out on something he said he would do?
Well, I would assume I'm gonna have everybody's best intentions at play here, that maybe there's some truth to both sides of the story here, where Dustin and his team did reach out to Conor, and Conor's team did not reply, maybe because they are indeed waiting on some money to come through, like Conor has tweeted. But I would also like to think that, if you're a good businessman and everything's on the up and up, you would at least reply and let someone know what's going on, especially when you're, essentially coworkers, right? Working in the same space. And this is a very public thing that you guys agreed on. I don't think that this would be smart PR if you're on the Conor McGregor side to just, either back out of the deal or just ghost, Dustin's team on this. It's not a good look by any means, because Conor, with a lot of people, is already like, do we like Conor? Do we not like Conor? Like, he's done a lot of controversial things throughout his career. Some things people give him passes for, some people don't. And for those people that have always been critical of Conor, this is just another thing to not like Conor for. It's pretty terrible to say, I'm going to donate a lot of money to a foundation and then not do it. So if you never intended on doing it, you shouldn't have said it. But if he does intend on doing it, hopefully he does follow through eventually.
Yeah, it's a very interesting kind of turn of events that doesn't really surprise me totally. And I kind of have the feeling that he probably did intend to do it. I would like to think that he intended on doing it originally, but down the line, realizing that, okay, we're going to fight again. I'm going to go back to the old Conor ways and be a bit of, a dickhead or, trash talker or what have you, that maybe it could be a part of his strategy to try and get Dustin a little bit pissed off again, riled up, like that first fight, which that was such a big part about it. Dustin was very open about how emotional he was in that first fight as opposed to the rematch. But I don't know. It's weird when you think about that. The old Conor coming back, it's like, all right, what we're seeing out of him right now and the stuff that he's saying is like, it's not very clever at all. It's not really amusing in the right way. I don't think. It's just kind of like, it's just being a dick for kind of no reason. Like, I don't know, it doesn't remind me of the guy we saw on the come up, right, at all. And I think it might be harder for him to play that character or be that guy in this position of, having not won very much in the last so many years. And that's why the funniest part about this entire thing to me is probably his response to when Dustin showed, sent him the clip of him getting knocked out in the rematch. And he responds with a screenshot of the first fight. Like, like, dude, really? Like, that's the response that you have for that? I mean, I don't know. It's, hopefully he does. And it's also funny to see, like, how quickly Khabib followed through for donating as well. All the stuff that comes up, like, dude, you could do this. Why did you say it if you're not going to do it? So I don't know. I think that it probably, it's a strategical thing, but I don't know. I really don't know in this case.
I mean, I honestly can't speak to what's going on here. I just know it's one of the dumber things that I've heard in quite some time. This whole scenario is just so stupid. I mean, talk about just bottom barrel trash talk, just not remotely interesting or enticing in the least bit. I just find it to be very, very silly. I mean, the idea too that he would promise to donate the money and then just not do it. It's pretty scumbag. You know, the thing is, it is his money. He can do whatever he wants to do with it. He's not obligated, but that doesn't take away the scumbag factor. Like that's just really scumbag to operate like that, especially when the respect between the two was one of the selling points of the rematch. And like this evolved version of both men facing each other years down the line after they had such a pivotal meeting towards both of their careers. Like I do find it rather off-putting to promise that as when the PR is good and to hype it up and like, oh, they're so mature now and this and that, and then to just not follow through. And it's not like he doesn't have the money. Without me, looking into his finances, I think we can all safely assume that Conor McGregor has $500,000 that he could just spend on this, and not to mention charity tax breaks and whatnot. This is definitely something he could do if he decided not to do it. Whatever, man. I just think this is part of a rollout for something else. This is something to get people talking about a rematch, or a trilogy bout. Or if we are to believe anything as far as the rumor mill right now, there was that pulling of the Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards fight off of the UFC website. I don't know if that's been put back or if that situation has been clarified at all. But man, this sort of, take now, like now, because we got into this argument, I'm not going to fight you anymore. I'm fighting a different opponent. And you've got this sort of odd situation on the other side of the equation with Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards going on. It makes me feel like something's up. I feel like something is brewing. I don't know what, but it feels really, really strange. And it feels really, really stupid.
Man, and first of all, right?
Here we go.
You're talking about him being a scumbag because for who knows how much money he has. All right, just because he sold Proper 12 and bought a $2.7 million watch that has a little secret sexy, that's not scumbag behavior, man. He might be hard up for cash. You don't know that. Come on, just ridiculous assumptions. No, in all seriousness, this is very dumb. I hate that anytime McGregor tweets, it becomes an article on one of the various mainstream outlets, and that we kind of have to do a video and address this because, like he said a million times, a bunch of different shit that are all lies. He's just what he does. So this is very, very stupid. I hate talking about it. It does suck that he didn't, pay Dustin. I hope he does come through on that, because that's more so just because of the charity and what that money goes towards. It's, that lack of money that's a lot for a lot of people. So I hope he does do the right thing and, work out whatever it is with Dustin to, transfer that $500,000 over. But otherwise, this is all just ridiculousness and stupid. And he said, oh, okay, the fight's off because, I'm going to go take my fight somewhere else. Yeah, okay. You also said you were going to fight Donald Cerrone, and then like way before it actually happened. And then you said you were going to fight Jorge Masvidal. And then you said you were going to fight like 7 different people. You said you're going to retire 3 different times. Whatever, man. It's just so stupid. So I encourage everyone out there to go donate to The Good Fight. A lot of people are donating $7.32 for the amount of time Conor lasted in the octagon with Dustin last time out. I know that's a big thing trending. If you want to donate that much, or you want to donate more, less, whatever have you, if you can spare some money, I encourage you to do that because it is a good charity and I appreciate what Dustin's trying to do. But yeah, this is just really, really dumb and I hate it.
Yeah. So. One other thing I want to bring up too in regards to all of this, and I'm going to echo the sentiments of my friend and colleague Ben Duffy over at SureDog, where he said that the worst part about this is McGregor questioning the legitimacy of Dustin Poirier's charity. And I think that's something that we all really should harp on, because that's a huge deal. That's a really heinous accusation to suggest that that Poirier is trying to like he has some ulterior motive or any illegal activity in regards to his foundation. I mean, this is been a very public thing that he's gone about since he started this. They've done very public work and continue to do great work. And especially coming from someone who has run afoul of the law in some pretty shitty ways, several times throughout his time in the spotlight. That's just it's an awful thing to say. And then on top of that, like Conor, you open your mouth to volunteer this money. Okay, this was not something that Poirier coerced out of you. You got on that mic and you said this is what you were gonna do. So God forbid the man call you out for.
Whoa, he did that originally to circumvent the UFC so that they could have a charity match. Man, once that's no.
Okay. Bets off. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, bets off, man.
Bets off. Bets off. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. No, like I agree 100% with Ant's sentiment there, because I agree with what Pat was saying as well. Like I'm sick and tired, and I have been for quite some time, of us in the MMA media space reacting to every Conor tweet as if it's front page news, and that's kind of like, the thing that we've grown accustomed to. However, there have been a couple of times where it's like it's necessary, and this is one of them. Not only for the accusations, like Ant was just talking about, that hey, your charity's not legit. I'm pulling out of the fight. You haven't paid your donation that you said you were going to pay. Like, those are more serious things that we need to report on, because it's like, okay, that's being a real scummy person, and it's like makes the whole sport look bad when the biggest name in the sport is not following up on promises to help people out in need. So it's one of those things where, generally I agree. And when I see a Conor tweet come through, I'm like, there's going to be articles everywhere about this in 15 minutes. And sure enough, they pop up all over the place. And it's just something insignificant that never really amounts to anything. Hopefully that's the case here. Hopefully the donations go through. Hopefully we get apologies during fight week about, calling into questions about, the legitimacy of the charity and all that stuff. But that remains to be seen. Who knows? Conor could go full heel again just to try to get some heat back on him. We're on the heels of WrestleMania, baby. He's going full heel mode again. Who knows?
That's kind of the interesting thing to me, though, about all of this is, yes, Conor has had a very questionable, history with the legal things, in recent years, and, looking at how some of the things, the levels he was willing to go to in the Khabib rivalry, things that he said and whatnot. And then now doing this with Dustin a little bit, it leads me more to believe that he's doing this intentionally, strategically, because what was it, like 2 years ago, I believe, or something? He built he paid for like an apartment complex, like an entire like building to be built for homeless people in Ireland or something like that. So he's done like similar, charitable things in the past, just randomly not connected to, MMA or anything like that. So something like this, I feel like, why not do it here? You've done things like this in the past. Sure, maybe price is different and whatnot, but the fact that it has this connection here to his next opponent, a guy who just beat him, if he loses this next fight, like that really, really hurts more than what it already did to him in this rematch. So I don't know. It's all very stupid, just to put it plainly. But it is interesting to look at the angles, I suppose.
Yeah. Hopefully Conor, does the right thing here and pays up. But there's really no telling with that man, and I will not entertain any sort of semblance of knowing what he will do until there's some ink dry on paper. Because again, this is what McGregor does. He plays into a heel character. He seems erratic, does whatever he kind of wants to. There's no telling. So let us know in the comments how you feel about this whole situation. Do you feel that there might be some issues with the way things were set up, and maybe there's some justification for Conor to, hold off on paying the money? Do you think that he should pony up immediately? How do you feel about, the bad beef brewing? Is heel Conor fully back? Are we going to see the old Conor show up for the trilogy? Let us know all those thoughts. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification. And until then, hopefully no more Conor BS until we get into the July 10th fight.